Hello everyone! Today I wanted to show you something that has to do with lip sync animation from a regular webcam, and it's not a cloud processing thing, so let's have a look how this works. So I'm going to start with iClone and go and load a character in. I'll show you the process and see if we can make something happen together. I'm really new at iClone, but I'm liking it a lot. It's a really nice animation tool. I'm going to use Kevin here like I did in the beginning, so double click him to bring him in. And he's a CC3 Plus character. And I think the AccuFace thing is something that works on CC3 Plus characters. Just because this is a processing intensive thing, whoops, Kevin, come back here, buddy. There we go. Because this is a processor intense thing, I'm going to go and switch the physics simulation off. And I'm also going to go and switch the viewport here from high to medium, just so that it's a little bit easier on my new computer that I haven't even talked about. It's a new computer. Shockingly, it's been made in 2017. So it's new to me, but it's not physically new. It's a new HP Z8 G4 workstation with 256 gigabytes of RAM and two Intel Platinum 8160 Xeon processors. So very cool. But because from 2017 it's not as fast as I wanted it to be, but my projects are getting more intense, my client projects are getting more intense, and I needed, more hardware. So more on that another time. So this is Kevin, and the plugin, once installed with the Reallusion Hub, is actually a standalone application. They don't tell you this. I was looking around here and thought maybe under plugins I'm going to find it, but that's not the case. It is actually a standalone application, and I think NVIDIA made it, or they have an API that this app calls or whatnot. So I've got it here, recently added. This has also got a little icon on the desktop. So if I open that, then my other webcam is going to show up. This is what the interface looks like. And I do have two. There we go. That's it. I've got two webcams installed. The one that I'm recording this with at the bottom right, that is the one that's better. This one's pretty terrible. You can see it's freaking out every once in a while. So it's not really what I wanted, but with it works even with the camera like that. And so these freak out things here, ignore them. On a normal camera, it's it's supposed to work better. You can also see that if you don't have lights on, it still detects those facial points quite nicely, I have to say. So even when I turn my head, all these little tracking points on my face, they are being recognized, even though the lighting is terrible. So I'm going to obviously, turn this back on, and then this might work a little bit better. Yeah, so this is a standalone application, and this is going to talk to iClone, and therein already lies the first hurdle that I came across, namely that this IP address here is the one that you need to tell iClone about. So I'm going to go and make this a bit smaller, and also go and click this icon here so that it stays at the top. So when I go and bring up iClone now and bring iClone in the focus or in the front, then this thing just gonna lurk around here. So that's the point. So in order to go and bring this panel up, you head over to plugins, Motion Live, and it's the Motion Live plugin essentially that we're going to use. Let me go and move that over here, and it communicates with the AccuFace app with an IP address and a port. And in my case, because I'm on Windows 11 and it's all easier, harder for customers to get things done, IPv6 was enabled. So this app was showing me the IPv4 address, which this one is, but this app here was showing me the IPv6 address. And of course, typing IPv6 address into here didn't want to connect these two, and the solution to the puzzle was disable IPv6 if this doesn't work for you. So it's just one of those things. If you are in the precarious situation like I was, you head over into the Windows settings and to the network and internet, and then under the advanced network settings here over here, and then in here somewhere I think you find your internet adapter like this one. You go into here and you go into more adapter options and you go into edit, and there's probably an easier way to get there, but this is where you find the Internet Protocol version 6, and when you just disable that, then this issue doesn't happen anymore, and then your apps can connect. yeah, one of those things. You gotta know this, and let me spend the hour so that you don't have to, basically. So you type in the same IP address that you see here and the same port number 999, and then you should be able to just click this green thing, and that connects iClone now to the AccuFace app, which is awesome. It doesn't need to be open. We can close it in a moment. I just wanted to show you that some of these things we just need to do a bit of calibration work with. So let me maybe go and put this over here and put this window over here. Maybe make this a bit smaller here, because we also do want to see Kevin and what he's doing. So once this is enabled, you have that character in your scene, and you have to go and click on this little exclamation mark thing and give it the AccuFace profile, I suppose. Once you do that, you can go and enable that, and then we're basically ready to rock. The moment you press preview followed by space, Kevin should more or less do what my other me does up there in the top left corner. So let's try it out. There we go. Kevin moves his head more or less like I do, and he also does it in real time. And look at the pupil tracking. So this is something I find really, really interesting. So it's, you know, eyebrow tracking works, mouth tracking doesn't quite work as real time as it will appear in a moment, but you know, it's kind of there. And remember, my webcam isn't great, so that's that. But if I'm looking straight ahead, Kevin kind of looks to the side a little bit, and this is because we need to do a bit of manual calibration, and I believe that also happens in this app here. Let me go move that over here now, just so that we can see Kevin a little bit better. And I think it is here, Calibrate Facial Capture. And there's at least one that you need to calibrate, which is the neutral face, and then 2 more optional, and the fourth one, well, I don't really know about that. So the first one, you can either press S or just click this button here, just resting position, and you know, just don't talk for a second. And that's calibrated this to my neutral face, which is nice. Now, brow raise. There we go. Now it knows what my brows are. This is kind of a little preview of what you're supposed to do. So brow down. Kevin does that quite well. Brow inner raise, that is something I'm not actually biologically capable of doing. It's like the thing that dogs do when they go and want a treat, or when they want to appear like, you know, poor little guy type thing. It's essentially taking this inner part of your brow, moving that up. So I don't have the muscles for that, but if you had, then you could calibrate that as well. And that is that. So you can go and close that now. And that's that. I think this one here, you can also go and calibrate. But there's another thing where you can calibrate things, and that's in the iClone app itself. So for now, that's something. Look at the wrinkles. Amazing, isn't it? And the pupils are being tracked. If only the camera wouldn't freak out. So I'm quite excited about this. The brows, they seem to kind of flutter around a little bit, and there is something that you can reduce the tracking interference. So I might go and enable brows here. So now they're still being tracked, but the jitter is being reduced a little bit here. Also works with one brow. I can't raise my other brow, sadly. But, you know, mouth, R, E, E, O, U, kind of works, doesn't it? So that is very cool. So if you're an actor, you can make the most amazing expressions with that, and the thing should just do the same thing. And often it kind of does. Sometimes it doesn't. Fun, isn't it? But the real cool thing is that you can now record this and let it process this together with audio, and then the lip sync is going to get better. So let's try that out. I'm going to go and make this a bit smaller again. Go into here. Well, actually, I'm going to go and put this into the background, because we don't need to see my camera thing there anymore. We can go press space to stop the preview here. And over here, I can go and add auto blink if I want. I might do that and let him blink automatically, and I'll record the audio for the Vaseem track. I'll go and pick myself a B-grade microphone to go with the B-grade webcam. This is what I use for outdoor recordings, and it used to sound great in the beginning, and now it sounds kind of terrible. I really don't know why, but it's, you know, it's one of those things. I suppose like headphones, eventually the membrane kind of dries out or something, and it just sounds terrible now. It's one of those things. I have A-grade equipment for recording videos on a second PC, in case you're wondering, and I've got the B-grade equipment, a lot of it, that I'm doing for stuff like this. So that is that. There's a bunch of other things that you can set up and tweak here, and that's probably really cool if you have video files that you give it. So currently I'm just giving it my webcam, but you can also give it a video file if you had an actor that recorded that. So you can go and increase and decrease the strength of these various things here. You can denoise things. So like if my mouth constantly jitters, I can go and denoise that a little bit. And then finally, we can also smooth stuff here at the end. I'm going to go and leave these things off because that is a lot of trial and error. I'm going to go and leave the defaults as they are. And now, I believe microphone is correct. We go record, and because I'm still on the trial version only records 30 seconds of video, and you have exactly 10 goals of recording things. So I suppose once I run out, I'm gonna have to go and buy this, and then I can go and record longer things. So, but I've recorded 8 demos, 5 of which didn't work at all, and this one is one of those things. We've got 2 left for this demo. This is kind of cool. So let me go and hit OK, and then the same thing happens when I press space. It will go and start recording my movement. So let me get to character here. Hello everyone. This is a test of something that currently doesn't even work, which is a bit of a shame because I wanted to show you how the head actually moves while we're recording this. Why isn't this working? It's one of those things, isn't it? It's an AZ Live Demo. At least we can see the eye blinks working fine. Huh. I really don't know what happened there. I pressed space to stop this, and in an ideal world, it should have at least given me, you know, some kind of preview here, but I guess it didn't do that, the demo effect. One of those things. They have another way of doing this with an iPhone or an iPad with a depth camera, and that costs also quite a bit of cash because the profile they charge you for is expensive. And I have it, but I haven't tried it out, so it'll be interesting to see that in action. It looks like we have one more try here. Align the seam, so that's good. That's good when it does that. Sometimes when it doesn't do that, you may not have the correct audio input source selected. There's also optimization that needs to be set to AccuLips so that it uses this AccuLips thing in the background. That's their way of making lip sync animations to script. F3 to bring this up, and then if you click this little mouth icon, it comes up with this Vesim track here, and the red words is something that he doesn't recognize, so you can go and right click on that and check AccuLips, and then you can go and correct the words that, you know, might not match or something that isn't, that's not quite how I said it, but I'm not sure if it actually worked at all. So let's see if we can just play that back.
Hello everyone. This is a test of something that currently doesn't even work, which is a bit of a shame because I wanted to show you how the head actually moves while we're recording this. Why isn't this working?
Terrible.
It's one of those things, isn't it? It's an AZ Live Demo. At least we can see the eye blinks working fine. Huh.
Yeah, what a terrible, terrible, terrible failure, huh? But I thought this is kind of nice to show you this because this is what we basically deal with all the time. In 3D, things don't work on days that end with a Y. That's basically how it works. And sadly, that's every day, which is crazy. So that's bad, isn't it? So shall I go and restart iClone? Let me just go and do that. And we'll just try to do this whole thing again. Or should we just go, let me go and do another preview here. Does it even work? No, it's completely, there we go. Kevin's back in action. Hello, Kevin. What's going on, buddy? Okay, let me just go with that final record option that I had left here. At least it has recorded audio, so that's kind of cool. Yes, final record attempt. Oh my God, we're having it here live. I'm recording audio, am I? Let's hope so. Okay, let's do this thing. Hello everyone, this is my man Kevin here, and he is now moving his head, which is really, really cool. So let's see what the AccuLips translation thingamajig bob comes up with, and see if we can, you know, pull funny faces while we're doing that. Okay, thanks. Take over. print, copy, no, copy, print. So that looked a little bit better. Yeah, this is basically at least 5 or 6 takes out of my 10 trial takes where things just didn't work. So it's one of those things. Super funny. Processing takes a little longer than I had expected, but I guess it's doing a lot in the background. And there's also apparently ways of tweaking this afterwards, but of course I know nothing about it. So let's see how it comes out with the default settings. Generate Vecine keys without the assistance of the dictionary. Oh yeah, you can also go load a matching script file. This is good if you have a take from a video and the text file needs to be called the same thing that the video file is called, and then it goes and brings it in automatically. Here, when we do this live, it doesn't really work. See if we can go into AccuLips and translation thing, I'll say. Thingy, I suppose, thingy majig bob comes up with and self can in oc perfy what? Yeah, I don't even know what I said there, but this is probably hello everyone. There we go. And then we just go apply. Let's listen to it, shall we?
AccuLips.
Whoops. There we go.
Hello everyone, this is my man Kevin here, and he is now moving his head, which is really cool. So let's see what the AccuLips translation thingamajig bob comes up with, and see if we can, you know, pull funny faces while we're doing that. Okay, thanks. Take over.
I mean, for the fact that I did nothing to this, not bad at all. I mean, yeah, disregarding the terrible camera and also disregarding the fact that the control bracket control bracket here, and for the fact that I didn't do anything to it, I didn't have a script file, it wasn't bad at all, I have to say. Let's go and watch this one more time.
Hello everyone, this is my man Kevin here, and he is now moving his head, which is really cool. So let's see what the AccuLips translation thingamajig bob comes up with, and see if we can, you know, pull funny faces while we're doing that. Okay, thanks. Take over.
And that was basically already it. I have to say that isn't bad for something that does both the head movement as well as the eye blink movement. It does pupil tracking, and after the recording, with the processing of the, I suppose, speech to text component, the AccuLips component, it then really improves what it does. And I'm sure you can adjust this after the fact if there's a couple of things where the Vecimes didn't quite match the lip movement, or where you'd like the lip movements to be different, but that is not something I know much about. It's just nice to see something like that exists, and I'm very pleasantly surprised. As I said, I might make another video slightly better for general release. Maybe I won't, I don't know, there's a lot of them out there already. I just wanted to share this with you because I think this is kind of cool. And yeah, $212 if you're a real Prime member, and if you get it in the next kind of 30 days, I guess before Christmas or so. Regular price $500. Only you can decide, is it worth your while? I think the time saving and for the fact that it's a one-off cost that you can generate as much lip sync and head movement with as you want is kind of cool. So on Saturday and Sunday this week, I played a little bit with Unreal Engine and this workflow. I might actually show you this while we're talking about it. I'm going to go and close this down here. I did something that was related to this. Let me just go and load this and then we can talk about it. If you haven't seen the stream, this is something in which I took iClone characters as well as a DAZ character, transferred them from DAZ Studio into iClone, or via Character Creator rather. And then from there, I took, here it is, Triangle Diner. From there, I took things from Unreal Engine, from an existing set, namely the Triangle Diner that's available for both DAZ Studio as well as Unreal Engine. I selected the bits that I needed, sent them over from Unreal Engine into iClone. Then I animated the figures in iClone and sent the figures over back to Unreal Engine, shaders and all that kind of get automatically set up, which is really cool. And then rather than exporting animations and importing them in Unreal Engine has this thing called Live Link that uses iClone essentially as an animation input. And so the animations that are timed in iClone were then streamed over into Unreal Engine and could be recorded there, and are now native animations inside Unreal Engine. So fascinating workflow. This here was one such character. This was Monique 6, I think, 7, Monique 7, and she was transferred with hair and clothing from DAZ Studio into Character Creator first, from there into iClone, and from iClone she goes over to here. But you don't really have to mess with settings so much. It kind of just does that. So very exciting workflow. And the other two characters, they originated in iClone. So they were kind of iClone content, cartoony characters. And here's what I've been able to make. I'm quite proud of that. And while I'm talking to you about this funky new workflow, you know, maybe this is something that can filter into that, because once we would have put facial expressions and animations onto our characters, I can then go and put them into here. Where are they? Are they? Oh yeah, they're the spawnables, and they were of course part of the sequencer asset. There it is. Let's dock you here at the bottom. Here we go. So these are them in situ. This is Monique, and the animations aren't fantastic at the moment, but they were just grabbed from the library. And let me go and put this into loop and play this. This is what that looks like. I'll put F11 so we can see this in context. So that is what I've been able to do. So in order to animate these guys around the furniture, I literally selected the seat and the table and all that, sent them to iClone, animated the characters around this proxy geometry, and then sent their animations back, including the DAZ character, over to iClone. Added a couple of lights so we can see the facial expressions a little bit better. But then you set up the camera shortcuts here, and then you can go and switch between them as if it's a movie. And I'm thinking that is a really exciting workflow, and I'm looking forward to doing more with that. So the thing that really now stands out is that they are completely emotionless, and this is what interests me about this AccuFace plugin. While there are so many motions that you can buy on the store and you know, have these things just a drag and drop action, I'm thinking if you could just record these yourself, as many or as few as you needed, you know, that's what I'm looking forward to, and that really makes animation projects come to life. This kind of ease of use, and you know, one of those things.